Hello, this is Nicola from Kali Yoga Studio. Welcome to yet another episode of Yoga Stories, and I'm honored to talk with Rikki today. Hi Rikki, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
That's so awesome to be here. As I understand, you came to yoga after a pretty serious accident. Can you tell me a little bit what happened there?
Yeah, I had an accident in 2005, was immobile for 2 years, had a major surgery, and then you were hanging your shingle, and I saw restorative and therapeutic yoga and thought I would give it a try.
2005 already. That's
Yeah.
nearly 20 years ago. Wow.
Almost
Yeah.
18, almost 18, yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about that accident? What was the extent of it and what happened?
I couldn't walk for a while.
Mm.
Jim had to help me dress, brush my hair, couldn't move my arms, couldn't wear t-shirts, had to always have something that buttoned up because I couldn't move my arms.
Yeah. And that was motorbike, right?
That was a
accident,
motorcycle accident.
Mm.
I ended up having titanium pieces put in my neck.
Yeah.
And once that was done, then I was able to get on with healing. Prior to that, we were just doing physio and massage therapy just to maintain a level and not go backwards.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty scary stuff, huh?
it was scary. It was life-changing.
Yeah, of course.
It was very life-changing. But yeah, it was scary. I wasn't sure what was going to happen for the future. But being strong-willed, strong-minded,
So you slowly started walking again and moving again?
I started walking, I started moving. I had frozen shoulder from not being able to move it until the neck surgery.
Yeah.
And that's when I started coming to restorative and therapeutic. And it didn't take long. And my arm was moving. It still doesn't move all the way, but
somewhat better.
it was moving better than the pulleys I was using. It was...
Did you do yoga ever before that?
No!
No.
No, I saw little shows on TV thinking it might be interesting, but all I saw was these fit young girls in these tight outfits and looking pretty and this and that, going, I'm not graceful and this isn't for me. You know, although it did look interesting, but at the time I thought, no, I'm not graceful by any means, so I'm out.
Isn't it funny? I think it still is, at least for many people, that idea that yoga is only for young, fit, flexible women.
That's
Right?
true, and I've been trying to tell many people, just go for it. Yoga is just wonderful for the stretching. You don't have to wear these outfits that are selling in the stores for $150. You can come in your sweatpants and your t-shirt or capris, whatever is comfortable. It's not about fashion, it's not about looking good. It's about doing what you can do in the moment.
So what then changed your mind after that accident that you thought it might be something for you that might be helpful?
It was your class.
Yeah.
And the people that were also in the class, seeing that they were all just regular people, young, old, men, women,
With all kind of
with all kind of injuries.
exactly.
Being able to know you could modify, you didn't have to be perfect. You could just move your own way with your guidance and instruction. It was an eye-opener.
And you did find it helpful pretty quickly.
I found it very helpful very quickly, and then working on just the basic stretching. I learned a lot about my body through the yoga and through the stretching and through the moves. Like I said, it was quite eye-opening. It's not something I ever thought I would ever do, you know.
Yeah. If you because I'm just always trying to figure out what exactly it is that, what are the elements that actually make the change. for example, if you compare it to the physio, the whole rehab that you did after the accident, what did maybe yoga add, or what was different that made you continue coming for all those years?
It complemented the physio massage therapy. It wasn't as structured as physio, where you have your set of exercises that you must do every day,
Yeah.
which there's nothing wrong with that. This helped with more of the stretching and how to move your body, being aware of what your body can do. Massage therapy just helped with relief of the muscles.
Yeah.
I just found yoga, it was a mind and body experience.
In what way? No, especially in your particular case with the injuries, or how do you think that mind-body connection actually worked on your recovery?
Well, I was able to shut down the mind, the chitter-chatter going, this is my life now, I can't do this, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And I was able to focus on, hey, I can do this, I can do this. It doesn't matter that I can't do it that way or not able. I don't like the word can't, so I'm not able to do it that way, but I can do it this way. And being able to breathe through stretching, breathe through exercises. Physio never taught me the breathing, the steps necessary for the breathing to go through these exercises to make them, don't know the word for it, but just to make them better or more useful.
Yeah.
Not so mechanical.
Yeah. It adds something, right? That is just not only that the biomechanics, that it is important too.
Yeah.
But I think you really touched upon something interesting, this thing of creating that mindset that's not about judging what you can't do. And maybe that's where yoga works, you know?
I would think it would.
Because if you think about any other sports activities, it usually is about getting better in that sport, you know, stronger, jumping higher, running faster, these things. And there is something about yoga that's not even the goal.
No, with yoga there's no end goal. It's just a continuation of your body. Whereas in sports, I was doing weight training for a while, so the goal was to lift more, lift better, lift longer.
And obviously then, you know, it just occurs to me, if that is your goal, then especially if you continue doing it, and yes, the body changes as we grow older, injuries happen, and then you can't do those goals as much any longer. There is no way to not tell yourself, oh, I'm not doing it as well. My body is failing or is not, you know, doing it. All those things tell us that. And maybe that's where yoga is different, where, as you said, it's not about that goal, getting better, not even doing a more fancy pose or anything like that. And that's not failing, you know, that's not worse yoga because we can't do the handstands any longer.
I would want to try to do a handstand now.
I'm still working on it.
But even with yoga, depends how your body is that day too. You can modify.
Yeah.
I find for myself, I have to modify certain poses for that day.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I
It
may not be,
happens,
whereas, you know, if you go to a sports thing, you can't really modify throwing the football. You can't modify kicking the soccer ball.
And
And with the sports, I think yoga would even enhance sports if you're still into sports.
Yeah.
I think yoga would add because of the stretching and just the calming, the breathing.
To add that, yeah.
To add that.
But yeah, there is, just to go back, it just occurs to me, this thing about what the goal is. Because even if there was, to compare it again with any other activities, any sport, and they allow you to modify for that day because you have a bad day, you sprained your ankle, whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's still a day where you would probably say, was a bad day for me because I couldn't really do what I was supposed to do. But especially as I grow older in yoga, I find that teaching that doing things less is not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Quite on the contrary, where you actually find maybe even a success or accomplishment with slowing down and making it, adjusting in a little way, tweaking it, and that's okay. And it's not only okay, it's actually better yoga, you know?
As long as you show up.
Yes.
And or even if you do it at home, as long as you do a bit and don't go, okay, this is a really bad day. Well, maybe on a really bad day you wouldn't.
Sometimes you need complete breaks, and that's okay.
Yeah. But if you come and it's like, okay, this isn't working for me, but how can I make it work for me today to how I am? That's what I really like about yoga is it doesn't have to be the same thing every day.
And isn't that exactly where it spills over in daily life, you know? If you really get that attitude, it's okay if I modify, it's okay if I slow down, it's okay to do something a little bit different, and I actually find still accomplishment and joy in that.
True enough.
Because I find that is, it certainly, as I grow old, when I think about how I started yoga, there was certainly many years where it was still not competitive in a way, but there was still about, oh wow, I can do now that pose, and I can do a handstand, and I can do this thing, and especially those years when I did the acrobatic yoga, which is beautiful and it's a fun practice, but it is a little bit a performance art. So yes, you do it because you want to have the fancy pictures on social media.
And it is an art form.
And it is beautiful, nothing wrong with that. But then that other stage comes where you need to slow down, and it's okay. And again, it's not that it is worse yoga. It's not that you have to say, oh, now I can only do a beginner's yoga again. No, I would say this is the most advanced yoga.
Yeah. And do you remember when I said, am I ready for beginner's yoga? Years ago, after doing the therapeutic and restorative, and then it's like, okay, am I ready for regular beginner's yoga? And it's like it's for anybody.
Yeah.
It's like I was quite shocked and amazed. It's like, wow. And it was a private challenge. Oh, I can do this pose, and now I can do this pose better for myself. And then when I injured myself a couple of years ago, it was like, oh, now I start back at restorative therapeutic yoga.
And still, it's not less yoga.
It's not less yoga. And now coming to all the other yoga classes, am I doing what I was doing 5 years ago? No. But I'm modified, I'm doing what I can do, and keep moving. That's my motto is just keep moving, keep stretching, doing what you can, not what that person's doing or that person's doing. It's what you can do yourself. Because anyone else around doesn't really care what you're doing. They're not watching you. They're in their own zone doing their stretching or their poses.
And you're certainly an amazing example of doing that. No, really, I don't know anyone who is so committed and so persistent. Because I know you had to go through quite a lot of injuries and pain, and not letting pain let you down in a way of saying I can't.
I've learned you've got to work through the pain. You got to know what your good pain is. And what your bad pain is, and your everyday pain. And if you can't be motivated through your everyday pain, I mean, I could just sit on it as a lump and go, no, I hurt today. It's like, no, I get out, I come,
So that's a funny thing. I've never heard you saying
Yeah.
that. What exactly you mean? What is the good pain and everyday pain and bad pain?
Oh, bad pain is when you know I can't do or I shouldn't do something because I'm at the point where I could re-injure.
Okay, yeah, aggravated.
Good
yeah.
pain is like, oh wow, okay, that pain is working. I'm not injuring myself by
Mhm.
doing that. Yes, it's painful. I live with fibromyalgia, so you learn the different pains. The everyday pain is your legs hurt, your arms hurt, you have constant nerve pain. So that's what I call the everyday chronic pain. But the good pain is, you know, if I'm doing something, go, oh, that hurts. But I didn't injure myself.
Yeah.
So just do it a little bit. And
Is there ever a day where there is no pain?
no,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. Every day is a pain day.
Yeah.
I just learn to live with it
Yeah.
and keep going.
And you find yoga is helpful.
Very helpful. Very helpful. I've tried to tell a couple of other people I know with fibromyalgia, come try this. Yes, it hurts, but stretch your muscles. Stretch. If you don't want to come to class, do it at home. Let me show you.
Just a little bit at least.
Just
yeah.
do a little bit because it will help, and it does help. It does help.
Was there ever a time or a period where you thought it does not work, you know, that some of the expectations of yoga, what you thought it would do, were kind of disappointing, or were you just actually not quite as I was hoped? Did it ever happen?
No, not really. You know, because I've always come with an open mind and always think, what can I do to make this better? How is this helping me? I've always come with the positive, not the negative.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't think in the negative going, this isn't for me.
Yeah. Do you think you have to come with that attitude, or does maybe yoga help a little bit with that attitude?
I believe if someone comes with that attitude, it would soon be changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, it's still yoga is a mindset out there where some people think, oh, you have to do this and this and this to do yoga, which is so far from the truth.
Yeah.
So far from the truth. I think a lot of people's minds would be changed if they came and tried it. And it does, you know, maybe because you got a whole hour or so for the class, depends on the class, where you don't have to think about anything. There's nothing going on up here. You're just in the zone, and you stretch, you move. Yeah, you hear the often, or not often, but every now and then the, oh, ow.
Your inner voice.
The inner voice coming out.
That happens, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it happens a lot.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We can all learn to chuckle with that.
Now over nearly 20 years of yoga, how has it changed for you in not only, of course, the poses change a little bit with what your body is able to do, but what effects you get or insights or what you get out of it?
Well, there's so much you get out of it, more than body. You know, you've got the mindset for myself, the breathing. I've always been a deep breather. I think with yoga, I'd have to really think hard to see what I get out of it because it's so part of my life now. You
I
know,
can't even imagine without it.
I can't imagine life without it. It's, you know, I know if I miss a couple of weeks of coming to class, I'll do some at home. But if there's a day or two I go without my, as I call my yoga stretches, it feels like I've cheated myself. I haven't done something that I should have done, even though at the end of the day it's like, what did I not do today? I may not know what it is, but
somehow it becomes a part of life.
It's just ingrained in me, I guess you could say.
That's amazing. I think that is how it should be. And it really becomes a part of life and not something that you do for an hour, something
Yeah.
to cross off your list because you have to.
Exactly. And the days I can't come to class because maybe I've slept in or
Which
don't
happens.
want to get dressed. I just do it at home because I can visualize what's happening here because I don't do Zoom. And I'll do my stretches. Go around the house doing my stretches. I'll do that during the day. I also do other exercises throughout the day, that physio exercises that have become so part of me that I don't even know I'm doing them. I just do it.
Do it, yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, no, that is a, as you say, a mindset that I don't know if you can actually learn. I would hope that you can cultivate it, even if you don't have it naturally from the beginning, but that you can cultivate it. But I imagine living such a long time with daily pain, that at some point of time you have to make the decision, do I let that defeat me and define me, or do I live my life anyway, the best I can?
And that's what I do. I live my life the way I can. I'm not going to let pain run my life or tell me what I can and cannot do. I'm just going to do. It's going to do. And yes,
But
we all have bad days. So.
Of course, but I really would hope that that everyday yoga somewhere in a subtle way helps you cultivate that attitude.
I'm sure it must.
Because just to go back again, what we talked before, we start maybe in younger years with, trying to do a better pose, a more fancy pose, stronger pose, and then realize that whatever reason, injuries, body growing older, it doesn't work that much any longer. And I think this is exactly the point where in many other activities you stop doing it.
That's right.
When you are in your middle ages and you join a soccer team and you hurt your knee, then eventually you will give up playing. Even if there was a team that would take you, but if you feel that you're always the last one in there, you will give it up because
you eventually give it up.
You don't play soccer as well any longer. There is this and then going down. And I would hope that yoga doesn't do that, even if you don't do those fancy poses. As you grow older and work through injuries, I would even say, for me, it finally is where it becomes more interesting. Because if I think about it in my younger years, when I did poses and I literally did not feel my body, because as a young person you don't feel your body because nothing hurts.
Yeah, true enough.
It's there and you do it, and yes, some people are stronger and more flexible, but you do it, but you actually don't feel it.
And your mind isn't thinking of feeling it because you're younger.
Because you don't have those sensations inside. And I really truly feel as I grow older and work with injuries, that's when yoga becomes interesting.
I find it becomes very important too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like with sports usually are a team sport. So if you're injured and you got to wear braces or whatever, and you can't kick the ball, you're feeling like you're letting your team down.
Yeah.
Whereas yoga is an individual practice, and you're never letting yourself down as long as you are moving and doing a stretch.
Yeah.
Or a pose in the best way you can.
And learning, and I think exactly that, learning to be present and first of all realize where you're at, then accept that that's where you are at.
And that's a hard part, is accepting where you're at.
Yeah.
But with yoga it's okay. This is where I'm at now, so I do what I can do.
And there's still always something I can do.
Exactly. I can't do a back bend anymore, but I can still do a little arch.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you just do what you can do.
Yeah, and this is what I, very often try to tell my, my class, there's always something you can do. And if you just sit down and do some deep breathing and do some very basic stretches lying on the back, that still can be yoga if you do it with that intention.
Yeah, and chair yoga.
Yes.
If you remember, when I had my cast on,
Yeah.
another injury.
You had a lot
I
of
just
those
go,
things,
oh my
really.
goodness, yeah.
That's true. I don't
And I remember sitting in the corner going, I can't sit on the floor. Let me sit on the chair and see what I can do.
And you
I'll
still
tell
did
you,
it.
it was more of a workout sitting on a chair than it was on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I still love chair yoga.
Yeah. It's through those adaptations where you actually learn about your body and what it's capable, and as well, hopefully learning to cultivate that attitude. It's not about what I can't do any longer, but what I can.
What I can and how can I do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
How can I do this for me? How can I move today?
Yeah. Yeah, you're really, I really mean that. You are one of the most inspirational yogis. No, really, because of course, you can never put yourself really in somebody else's shoes, but I know you long enough that I know that some of those things were not easy that you had to go through.
No, they weren't easy, but you just keep going forward.
Yeah.
I don't want to let anything let me down. I've got too much in this world to live for yet. Got a lot of years to go.
Yeah. And that's an awesome attitude to live by, really.
Oh, thank you.
I hope very much that it will bring many, many, many more years of yoga.
Oh, it will. I'm going to be on TV. Look at that 100-year-old woman.
Exactly.
She might be in a chair doing a stretch, might be in my wheelchair, but she's still going to be doing her yoga.
Awesome. I will be looking out for that.
I'll be the one in the home.
Still doing yoga.
Still doing yoga and getting all my friends in the home.
Awesome. Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, my dear, thank you so much for taking the time and chatting with me.
No problem. No problem. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's hard talking about the injuries and what I've gone through, but it's
Awesome. Thank you, my dear.
Oh, anytime.
And thank you very much for listening to yet another episode of Yoga Stories. There will be more to come, so check in and hope we'll see you soon. Bye.